Hi everyone, I'm Mel Gabbi and welcome to my new 30-day series. I'm super excited because this is a different angle to the other series that I've done before. So if you haven't been aware of my work, introduced to anything I do, I'm going to share in this introduction video a bit about me, how I work, the series itself, how to use it, and what you might get out of it, as well as some of the key poignant questions that are coming up in your spiritual awakening and personal power journey. So, this is for the curious, the waking, and the ready. So, if you're here, you're probably feeling a pull and something quiet or persistent calling you to go deeper. Maybe you're curious about spirituality, perhaps even waking up to something bigger, or you're just ready for a change. So, whatever brought you here, I just want to say you're in the right place. Why are you? Well, I'm Mel Gabbi, and I've spent over 4 decades exploring the landscape in spirituality, mental health, personal development, and transformation. I'm a mental health consultant, a therapist, yoga teacher, NLP practitioner, Reiki master, and I've studied Western psychology, Eastern philosophy, esoteric wisdom, and everything in between. And most importantly, I've lived through this journey myself and listened to thousands of hours of podcasts. I've also, like many of you, experienced burnout, trauma, doubt, deep healing, and moments of profound clarity. So I know what it means to question everything and still want to believe in something more. So, in this series, we're going to explore some of the big questions that many people are asking right now. Like, what's the difference between spirituality, new age ideas, and esoteric knowledge? How do I start my spiritual journey and what feels right to me? How can I go deeper without getting lost or misled? And can I combine science, soul, self discovery without having to follow someone else's path? Well, yes, you can. And that's what is here in this 30-day series. And I'm going to talk about why it's important to follow a 30, 60, or 90-day series, what some of the psychology is behind that. And also, it doesn't mean to say you're only going to just listen to these videos and that is it. No, if you feel a nudge to go to a workshop, read a book, go and chat with friends, do something that relates to what's meaningful to you, then yes, do that. It isn't about being prescriptive, but I'm sharing with you my approach that I started to want to integrate. I was struggling around 2016 to how to integrate my clinical side of working in mental health and well-being for over 25 years as a therapist, a service lead, a program director, creating courses, and my spiritual self that was actually a little bit hidden, getting my crystals out or my tie-dye shirt or anything that sort of symbolizes the bohemian, new age, spiritual sort of side of ourselves, which many of us have that only come out, once or twice a year when I used to go to the mind, body, and spirit events. I wanted to try and find a way of integrating all this. It was quite difficult to come up with my LinkedIn page, my website, my Instagram, and then adding on my more recent re-emergence in my passion for travel, where I'm promoting about fulfilling your own destiny, tapping into your own purpose, doing the things that bring joy, uplift you, inspire you, so that you can just have a happier, healthier, more fun life. And whatever that is that ignites that or helps you develop more of that, because we're all at different places on this. So, as I said, I'm bringing together psychology to help you understand things like mindset, beliefs, identity, values, some of the tools and tricks within psychology, and some of the aspects of dark psychology that we don't always talk about, but is highly relevant in this work. Personal development, so you can build things like confidence, clarity, and resilience, and more from that. And some of the practices that come from spirituality, New Age, and esoteric traditions. I'm not that keen on using the word New Age, and on some of the other videos, I might go into why. And spirituality also covers if you have an affiliation or are also connected to religion. And lots of people who believe in God declare themselves to be Christians or a kind of faith can sometimes struggle with also blending their draw towards things that sit outside of that. I'm not here to prescribe any way forward for you, but I'm going to help you just tap into what we know from some of the research can actually help you feel better, feel good, more peace, happier, healthier, or even transform your life. Okay, it depends on what your own personal goal is. So I also want to flag up that there's a lot of content out there that can be incredibly misleading, even harmful. Fake gurus, spiritual bypassing, and overly commercialized practices that disconnect us from what is real. And I came across this quite a few years ago where I was meeting yoga teachers or listening to yoga teachers talk on different platforms about how they didn't really want to do the spiritual stuff. And I'm trying not to judge, but I was finding that a bit confusing because we are spiritual beings. It doesn't mean to say you have to talk in Sanskrit or, have any particular rituals in your yoga practice. But there are sort of rationale behind these things. And there is in therapy about how we set the scene, how we create the space, how we help people feel safe, how we help them go deep, connect with their bodies, their mind, their spirit, and what can happen when we get in that space, and why these ideas that have been around a long time are actually very helpful. And so to try and disconnect the spiritual from the practice is kind of misleading. Can't think of another word. So that's why in this space, I'll help guide you towards connecting with your own intuition. And I want to also add to that, we've got many ways of learning with visual, kinesthetic, which is feeling, learning through doing, auditory, we learn from listening, gustatory, which is, our senses. So we've got many different ways to learn. And on one of my videos, I will be using some visuals, not just my voice. And also, I did deliberate, and I probably am going to do that on other platforms, just doing this as an audio only. So I just want you to explore safely, wisely, and in a grounded way. So, like I said, commit to 30 days. Every day there's a video released. It will be about 7 to 10 minutes long. I'll talk about what's in that video. The format is the same on each video because commitment to 30 days, real change requires consistency. Like anything, if we want to develop new habits and new lifestyles, we have to commit to practicing being that person that is fitter, healthier, more aware, better in relationships, all of that. That all requires us to commit. And we build up, as Abraham Hicks talks in their videos, we actually build up an energetic momentum when we commit to something every day, and we can start to see results much quicker. And I kind of learned this when I started going to, I went to the gym for years. I used to go 3 or 4 times a week. I was really incredibly fit. And then my back went, and then I took up yoga, and I was going once a week. And then I thought, once a week, I'm getting real benefit from that hour, but that's 1 hour out of how many hours in a week that I'm only committing to um, getting calmer, more aware, and doing a practice that actually is massively beneficial. And over time, I saw how beneficial that was. So much so, that's why I ended up training in a lot of these things. So through this process, should build and could build a deeper understanding of who you are, what you value, what feels right for you right now, and how to respond to your own inner guidance. And when I say what feels right for you right now, sometimes we go through phases, we learn information, it's highly relevant, we love it, we do it, and then we can drift and start doing something else. And I've done that a lot with my own training. I've trained in various modalities, absolutely loved it for a few years, and then been curious and gone and learned something else. And so there's also psychology models here that I want to share. I'm excited to share with you. Not just the ones we know, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs or Jungian archetypes, or even the archetypal work or art therapy approach to tarot. Things like the window of tolerance and attachment styles and how that feeds in and out. Now, I'm only going to be sort of touching a sort of basics of level with this work, because I'll also put links into people who go much deeper on these, and we're much more aware now in things like attachment style and things about toxic relationships, but they are, again, their videos in themselves, their courses in themselves. So this is about leading you, like with the extra videos that I do, to what's actually relevant. You might listen to a topic, think, okay, yeah, that's great. Journal prompts are great, and not go much deeper on that. And another one you might like with toxic relationships, how to recover from burnout, midlife and beyond, how to find meaning and purpose, after death and divorce, all of those sort of things that take us deeper. So the format will be coming in a second, okay? So, but if you're curious, waking up, or just ready, let's begin. And you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to show up. That is it. Show up. And if you shy about leaving comments on my YouTube page, drop me an email about anything that's relevant, and I can, without sharing names, I can share with people some of what other people are telling me about what they've learned. Okay, so how does this work? So, how to get the most out of this 30-day spiritual awakening and personal power series. Okay, so it's not just content, it's an experience, it's a process of self discovery, healing, and empowerment. So, each day there'll be a key topic related to everything under spirituality, psychology, personal growth, and development. One theme a day, one layer at a time, and one gentle nudge forward. And there'll be a tarot or oracle card, a crystal that you can buy or use linked with that theme, a mental health tip and psychological insight, some journal prompts that help you go deeper, and they help you reflect, deepen your thoughts, and clarify more. Some research that sits behind that, because I like to share with people, why is yoga so powerful? Why is meditation so helpful? And we kind of know a lot more about these topics now, but I'm going to share that anyway in case you're also a little bit new to it. And I will put the key prompts and journal prompts, the tips and prompts under the video, and any links that will be helpful, and links to my 3-session Kickstarter series, so that you can come and ascertain with me one-to-one where you're at now, where you want to go, how to create that plan that sits alongside this or adds to this, so that you can start to get some of the results that are more pertinent to you. And I'm going to be sharing some of my own personal insights and many stories that I've never shared before in any field. I'm actually quite a private person, and I kept getting told, you need to share that, you need to share that. And I've resisted that for a number of years, mainly because just the stigma that actually sits around mental health and well-being is still prevalent in workplaces, even in the NHS, that are constantly funding these different programs to help people address their mental health and set up services for it. But if you've had any mental health issues and you're a staff member, you don't necessarily get treated in the way that you should. And also, early on in my career, you could be discredited quite easy for showing any kind of interest. Therapy was accepted, but anything new age and spiritual wasn't. So I kind of kept the two paths separate, as many people still are, because your colleagues can go, that's very nice. But if you share some research, like when I go to a holistic events, I'll share the research of what different things are good for. So, Saved by the Bell. So all you do is go at your own pace, but try and do one video a day at a time that works for you. Commit to having that space to yourself. Write in your journal, light a candle and some incense. Create a safe container, a space that you can sit in. Relax your nervous system. If you've got crystals, use those. Have some calming tea, play some calming music, or just sit somewhere that's quiet. And that's about it. And I'm really excited to be sharing my work and my videos with you. If you haven't seen any of my work so far, have a look at the May and June series. And there will be book recommendations, song recommendations, podcasts and talks that you can link to. And I will be doing some guided meditations for specific aspects, and giving you a little bit of an introduction, not teaching you a full approach, but in some of the videos that will be relevant. And that's about it. So take a breath, take your time, Trust yourself. You don't need to believe in anything before you begin. Just be open. And if it doesn't sit with you, or you're not quite sure about that video, or something, that's fine. Okay. But just commit to some kind of practice, because you might be really surprised at the changes you see, how more positive you feel, how more upbeat you are. People might notice that at work, or your relatives. And that in itself is a sign that what you're doing is working for you. All right. So I look forward to sharing many more of my videos and information with you.